Hey, I'm Tom, and here's your homeowner maintenance tip from Tom McHugh Construction. All right, in this video, I want to talk about condensation on windows. What it is, why you get it, and some solutions on how to prevent it. So in your move-in folder, you do have a guide to condensation. It explains it in depth in 6 pages that you can read all about it. What is condensation? What does it look like? This window is clean right now, it's clear. The humidity in this house is good, but this is one of our most common call-ins, especially when the temperature's dropping right in the very beginning of winter. If you're starting to get humidity, condensation, and water buildup right here, this is generally where it starts. If your humidity is really, really high in the house, you'll actually get water droplets on the whole window frame. The whole face of the glass will be covered in water. You'll start to get puddles down on the sill. Why is that? And a really simple answer is your humidity is too high in the house. Why does it condensate on the windows? It's because the window temperature of the outside temperature makes the window lower than the dew point of the house, and the water condensates on the coldest point. So some really interesting information that you need to know. So here's some numbers. When the outside air temperature is 20 to 40 degrees, your inside humidity cannot be over 40%. Now I'm going to go to the other extreme. When you go down to -10 to 0 degrees, which is not that uncommon in Wisconsin, that we're going to get some days like that in the winter, right? Your humidity in your house can't be over 25%. And you're going to really struggle to get your humidity below 25%. So when it gets those really, really cold days in the winter, yes, you might get some condensation, but we're going to help you to not have that in general. So the first thing, blinds or curtains on a window, you need to make sure that you open those up during the day so the air can get movement through on the window to dry it off. You're almost guaranteed always when it gets cold, if you have curtains or blinds put on your windows, that you're going to get condensation on them behind it. And why you get condensation, maybe you didn't have it in your old home. The reason is homes nowadays are so airtight, they're sealed up. It's basically like living in a Ziploc bag, right? So behind the plaster, there's 2x4 walls that get framed, then the cavity gets filled with insulation. All the gaps get spray foam sealed. So where the window touches the studs, it gets spray foam. Where the exterior doors touch the studs, that gets spray foam. Inside these outlets where the wire penetrates the opening, that gets spray foamed. After that, it's insulated. The whole entire walls, ceilings, everything, it's all covered by thick plastic. The plastic is over, all the seams are overlapped. If there's not overlapped, if there's a cut or anything like that, they get sealed with tape. So that's prior to the rock, the plasterboard getting installed. The whole entire house looks like you're in a big plastic bag, right? There is 0 air penetrations left anymore. So whatever's in your house stays in your house. When you're cooking, boiling water, that adds condensation to the air. When you're taking a shower, I know it feels good not run the bath fan and get the shower, the bathroom as hot as you can, as steamy as you can, but that's not good for your house, right? So when you're taking a shower, taking a bath, make sure you turn your bath fan on right away. You should be running it for about 10 minutes at least after your shower, so that way you're removing all the condensation the best you can out of the house. The final thing, which helps out the very most, is a dehumidifier. You're gonna have to run a dehumidifier at the very most for the whole first year that you live in your house. If you have a radon, active radon system, there is a fan that's drawing air from underneath the slab. In some of those cases, I've seen where you don't have to run a dehumidifier as much. But everybody else, you gotta get a dehumidifier. And we're gonna go down in the basement. I'm gonna show you how I hook ours up, and I suggest you to run them. So let's go down the basement next. All right, we're down in the basement, and I wanna show you how I like to have my dehumidifier set up. So here we have a dehumidifier. They always have the water tank on the front. I like to set them up with a garden hose so they can run constantly. So in the back of the dehumidifier, I usually buy wash machine hoses. I cut them in half. It's cheaper than buying a short garden hose, but take a garden hose, put it on, and I like to remove one of the plugs from the sump pump pit. There's always an outlet that the sump pump is plugged into. Just put the hose down in there, and you can plug it in. I'm not going to plug it in because it's really loud, but make sure you set it to on, to constant, so it's continually taking the humidity out of the house, or you can set your percentage down to whatever recommended setting is for the time of the year. One thing to know about humidity is if you are just putting your dehumidifier in because you're having condensation problems upstairs, dehumidifier in the basement's not going to fix it right away. Especially for basements not finished. There are no return air supply vents or heat supplies or return airs in the basement. Sometimes there's one heat supply just to put a little bit of heat down in the basement, but ultimately the basement air stays in the basement, the upstairs air stays upstairs, and there's no way to circulate it. So one option is you set the dehumidifier up in the basement. You could make sure your door to your upstairs is open. You could put a fan in the upstairs, or from the door to going up to the upstairs. The other option, if your humidity is really, really bad and you're having horrible condensation problems, set the dehumidifier upstairs, run it, get your humidity under control, and then put it down in the basement for your long-term running. If you're running your dehumidifier all through the summer and the winter comes, your house will slowly equalize the humidity from your basement to your upstairs, but it's not something that happens overnight. It's going to take a month or two to get everything under control. So something to think about. Dehumidifiers, it doesn't matter what size you buy, they basically can take out whatever the size tank is on them for the day. So something to know, just because you set it up constant, if it is a small, we run the small cheap dehumidifiers because it's just running all the time and getting the humidity under control. But if you do have a humidity problem and you just have a small unit, it can only take out that size tank per day, even if it is running constantly. So it's going to take you a week or so at least to get your humidity under control if you're having really bad condensation problems.